Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Xenosaga Episode 3. This is the beginning of Disc 2. In order to do that, okay, good. There we go. I was expecting a different thing to appear there because last time a different file popped up. Anyway, Shion learned in her mother's hospital room that there was her younger self that had caused the Gnosis phenomenon from 15 years ago. The shock led to Shion's true awakening and the awakening of the two Shions, both past and present, even though, if you think about it, all of this happened in current Shion's head, so technically there really should have only been one Shion, unless she's awakening with herself and not including the small one, just all in her head. I don't know. This whole part of the game is confusing. Anyway, basically, those two resonate together, caused Abel's arc to materialize in Miltian space. Faced with the reality that she was unable to accept, Shion's mind began to break down. Now, this is a great line to put in here because it's used on two fronts. It's used in the fact that mentally she is breaking down from all of this bad stuff happening to her, but as well as that, the entire world around us in Miltia was starting to fall apart. So it's pretty cool that they include that there, and I just wanted to point that out. Anyway, Kevin showed up, Kevin's a dick, and the only way to save Shion, according to him, is, to go with Kevin. But thank God Jin was there to prevent Shion from doing that. Anyway, that's not where we were a minute ago. Well, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, last week, next week, whenever the last episode came out. Well, looks like some of us are okay anyway.
Is everyone okay?
Yeah, everything seems fine.
Hammer! Hurry up and give us a damage report and our current position!
That would be helpful.
Roger. Huh?
Okay, what's that? Abel's Arc. Now it makes more sense, even though they still don't say anything.
That's Abel's Arc.
What's going on? I thought it disappeared along with the past Miltia just a moment ago. Hammer, where the hell are we?
That would be good information to know.
Confirmed. We're at point KZ255Y724. It's the same point where we came in contact with the hypersphere.
What?
So...
UN column pulse received. Time axis confirmed. We're in the present.
We didn't move. We were always here.
We were trapped in the world of Shion's subconscious this whole time.
Okay. Now, with that being said, it doesn't make sense that the two Shions would be able to interact since there's literally only one Shion. Unless her mind was powerful enough to cause the whole situation to happen and summon Abel's Arc, which is kind of the goal here, and she just needed some prodding in order to allow that to happen. Maybe she needed a big enough mental catastrophe of seeing herself summoning the Gnosis in order for her to be able to have a big enough explosion of rage and confusion to summon Abel's Arc. I don't know. They never explain it. Again, I'm a broken record at this point, but that's pretty much this game in a nutshell at this stage. But if we never moved and all of that was just kind of an illusion, then when we summoned, when Shion was able to summon Abel's Arc, it wasn't to Miltia, it was to here. So that makes sense.
In order to awaken that,
The thing they were unable to accomplish in the past.
Which we heard a few of them talking about, I think Kevin included. They were unable to get what they wanted, so someone behind the scenes, presumably Kevin and Wilhelm, considering Kevin seems to be working with him, or Kevin's working on his own, we don't know. And so apparently they were trying even at that point in the past to awaken Abel's Arc for reasons we have no idea.
That's why they needed the power of both Shions.
But they weren't two!
Captain, there's a powerful energy wave coming from Abel's arc.
What?
Shockwave incoming!
Shields! Get us out of here, warp 9! Or stand still and get thrown away. That works too.
What the?
That was a planet.
The planet is...
Abel's arc is initiating transfer.
Wait, what? Yeah, it just went to warp.
Is it gone?
Captain, there's a transmission from the Durandal.
What?
Where the hell was the Durandal in all this?
Yes, sir. Looks like it's nearby. They say they've spotted us and they're gonna pick us up.
Good.
They're okay, right?
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay, let's go ahead and join up with them.
We've detected the Elsa signature. Range to rendezvous point is 400.
400 what?
What about the unknown that appeared moments ago?
It's currently moving through the UMN. A
Hyperspace.
unique wave is being emitted from the columns as it passes through. The disappearing planets are likely the result of those waves.
Planets
What
plural?
kind of waves?
They're similar to the vibration patterns emitted when Gnosis come in contact with humans.
Are you saying it's a synchronicity chain phenomenon?
I don't know what that is.
Disappearance phenomenon is expanding. At its current rate, half of the Federation will vanish within 72 hours.
Unbelievable.
That's all you have to say. You're not like, holy shit, the entire universe is destroyed. Unbelievable. Wait, what? Where is all the emotion? I have more emotion and I'm playing a game.
Have you identified the moving object? No, but this waveform matches the giant Gnosis that appeared at Old Milsha 1 year ago.
That giant Gnosis?
That thing they call Abel's arc.
According to the description in Mizrahi's Y data, Abel's arc seeks the eternal circle, Zarathustra.
It's kind of weird to see Yuli Mizrahi speak about her husband, or what, her ex-husband, by last name only, just because the game has kind of been set up so that we always refer to him by a last name, but you think she would at least use his first name. It's kind of weird, but I guess it's not too bad, it just sounds odd. But yeah, the Y data that we still know very little about, considering everyone seems to have it now, these guys seem to know a lot more about what's going on with it. Apparently, at some point, Joachim Mizrahi knew that Abel's arc, even though it never appeared there in this timeline, seeks the eternal circle Zarathustra, which is also in the subtitle for episode 3. Zarathustra
Then there's
is
only
anyway.
one place it can be going.
Yeah, it's looking for Zarathustra. We already know
Mictum.
it's on Mictum, the former planet of Abraxas. There are a number of these little cutscenes that aren't actually cutscenes. They're just slow panning shots. And that's it. I don't know why. Kind of weird.
Federation planets are disappearing one after another, just as described in the Y data.
How? How did Joachim know that this would happen? I'm confused.
The release of Lemegeton has awakened Abel. When Abel awakes, his cradle, the Ark, shall appear. It shall seek the eternal circle.
So, we've known that the Red Testament, Kevin, seemingly working alongside Wilhelm, is trying to do something with this. But it looks like Dimitri and Sellers are doing something with this as well. What the hell's going on? There's so
And
many
true to
different
those words, the Zohar has become active.
perspectives
I
on
can
this.
feel it. Abel. Just who is that child?
Yeah, and how come there's a giant Gnosis named his Ark?
You could say he's an old friend from the time when I was a UMN space pilot.
Now, this information is not available to us yet, but eventually it'll show up in the database. An old friend, but he looks like he's what, 6, maybe 10 years old max?
He was always in an isolated facility, though, so I only met him directly a few times. That was several hundred years ago.
Wait,
And he has never
what?
changed the entire time.
Several hundred years ago. How?
It's nothing to be surprised about. After all, I've existed for hundreds of years myself.
Yes, you have. Now, if you recall back to Pied Piper, they talked about Dmitry Yuriev. That was 100 years ago. Now, Dmitry Yuriev was present in Pied Piper. I'm not sure if I specifically mentioned it in my review of it to avoid spoilers for this, but the fact that he was alive at that point, and based on this, hundreds of years before that as well.
His existence is recorded in Mizrahi's Y data as essential for controlling Omega.
Now, the Y data we learn more about later on too, so I won't say too much.
He does act as a mediator to the Zohar waves, but the record itself is thousands of years old.
Thousands?
And Mizrahi restored it. Which means that boy has existed since that era.
Why they do this all the time, where they just give an indefinite instead of just telling us when, it's pretty obvious. It's kind of annoying, and why this game gets so confusing, because they won't be clear with anything. But that era refers to the Lost Jerusalem era. So back to when we were still on Earth, thousands of years in the past.
It's outside the realm of normal comprehension.
Right now, he is an indispensable partner to me.
No
He is
doubt.
the control device for Omega, the one weapon that can challenge God.
And Dimitri's completely insane. He wants to kill God.
Once I retrieve its power source, the Zohar, and obtain Zarathustra, the final artifact needed to ascend to the realm of God.
You want to go to the realm of God.
Do you seriously intend to fight God?
He's insane.
You'll see soon enough.
Mizrahi was never this insane, but Dmitri? Oh boy. He's nuts! Here's another kind of pointless panning shot. Yay! It's evil, I guess. It's killing everything. We don't know why, how, or what its purpose
What are you
is, but
doing, Margulis?
why are you mad at him?
Orders have been issued to move the fleet.
Is Margulis acting on his own again?
They have Omega. And now this.
It's the unknown entity currently moving through the UMN.
It's Abel's Ark.
Abel's Ark. The object that was said to appear when the Messiah was crucified?
You see where it's headed?
There's an interesting line there. I'm not exactly sure why they included it. Basically, they're saying that this massive gnosis appeared in the Lost Jerusalem era when Jesus was crucified. But why? Or how? Anyway, there's a little more information about that later. I'm not 100% sure on it at the moment.
It's Mictum. Why is this thing that appeared at Old Milsha a year ago heading for Mictum now?
That I don't know. But the Federation's Salvatore faction is headed for Mictum as well.
That's
You think
Dimitri's
that's
faction.
just a coincidence? There's something there on that planet.
And that's why you're taking the fleet? So that planet is more than just our birthplace?
Zarathustra. The blessed saint's womb. It is said to be vital for the return to Lost Jerusalem.
And they don't seem to know that it's on Mictum, even though that seems to be their birthplace, or at least the birthplace of Ormus, the faction.
Mictum, or Abraxas, was the planet where the worshippers of the saint landed. The Y data we obtained from the Federation also supports it.
You believe Zarathustra lies on Mictum?
Yes.
Or they do
So
know,
we
but
cannot allow
kinda
them
not.
to intrude upon that land.
Either way.
Even if it means disobeying the orders of His Eminence?
He seems to be doing that a lot in this episode. Or, well, this game, episode 3, not this episode of the LP.
Shion, what fills your heart? Is it fear, sadness, or joy?
At this point, probably sadness, fear,
don't
and
know.
confusion.
I don't understand myself.
Are you afraid?
Yes.
What are you afraid of?
You. Death.
Why are you
Gnosis.
afraid? Are you
Most of them lead
afraid
to my
of
death or
being
others' death.
isolated from the world? Are you afraid of people rejecting you? Are you afraid of your eventual death?
Well, obviously.
Afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of being alone.
What does it mean to be alone? Is it more terrifying than death? Why does your face show such an expression?
I don't know. I don't understand anything. Help me. Please, someone help me. Tell me who I am.
Well, it's a little different from all the other cutscenes we saw with Udu before.
Kevin, what should I do?
Why are you asking
Am I just
him?
going to disappear from this world, unable to do anything?
We all die eventually.
Kevin. Jin, why? Why didn't you let me go?
Because you're insane.
Why did you get in my way?
Well,
If I'd gone
she's
with
super
Kevin,
emotional.
I might have been able to be happy.
Do you really think so?
Now
What do
she's
you
acting
know?
insane.
You don't know anything about him. I'm going to die. Like Mom.
Like
Are
everybody
you saying you don't care?
who's ever existed.
Don't be stupid. No brother wants to see his sister die.
Then don't interfere. Let me go to Kevin. Don't take anything else from me.
Shion.
Get out!
Is it all right for you to leave the room?
Completely pathetic.
Currently, Shion's mental balance is in an extremely unstable state. That is the likely cause of her attitude towards you. Given time, she should return to her original mental state.
Hopefully.
That's not what I mean. I'm pathetic for being unable to help Shion when she needs me the most. I might as well be a stranger. I'm unable to do anything for her as her brother, KOS-MOS. Not that I believe the words of that testament, but it might really be for the best to remove you from Shion. But right now, you are the only one who can save her. Please, help Shion.
KOS-MOS is the only one who has that close relationship with Shion to be able to break through her mental state
Are you
at
all
this
right,
point.
Shion?
KOS-MOS, was what Kevin said true? Are you going to kill me?
There is no connection between my current system and your life functions. Nevertheless, given that those are words from Kevin Winnicott, the system designer, we cannot be certain if they should be ignored. At the present time, I am restricted from taking actions that would jeopardize your life.
Only at this time.
Why do you protect me, KOS-MOS?
Protecting Vector employees is registered in my program
But
as a
she
matter
doesn't
of
work
high
for Vector
priority.
anymore,
That's not it.
which they
You
forgot
tried to
about.
protect me specifically. I didn't program any priority like that.
Shion, protecting you is registered as my highest priority.
Is
That
Kevin
makes
the one who
sense.
programmed that?
I do not know. I can determine that it is a direct interrupt from my core module and independent of my control program.
Your core? Are you saying your heart wants to protect me?
My heart? I am unable to determine that.
Now, what they're doing here is actually rather effective. I'm not going to just shit all over this game going forward. I am going to point out the good points as well. But, yeah, they try and explain this away in a way that kind of makes it make sense. Basically, she's an android, so she doesn't physically have a heart, but something else seems to be acting upon her and causing her to make decisions, but that's not part of her core. So it's like a separate black box aside from the current black box that they know about that's just kind of executing orders on its own. So it's kind of interesting playing the parallel between that and the human heart.
I guess you can't know that. I don't know what I should do. It's not that I want to give Jin a hard time. And it's not that I don't trust my friends. I know that you and Jin and everyone on the Elsa are worried about me. But isn't everyone really thinking that I'm a dangerous burden? I'm the one who led our universe to destruction. If I die, the Gnosis might disappear. Isn't everyone wishing that would happen? I'm afraid. I'm so scared. No one's gonna save me. If everyone abandons me,
No one's going to
will you
abandon
always stay
you.
with me? I don't want to be alone, KOS-MOS. Help me, Kevin.
Don't ask for Kevin. Now, this is something different.
Nephilim.
If you notice that KOS-MOS actually hugged her back, and she's, I think, done that since they reawakened her. She's been a lot more receptive, even more emotional, obviously not, but than she was before. If you think back to episode 1, I think Shion hugged her a couple of times, and pretty much every time that's happened, she just kind of stood there stone-faced because she didn't really understand the situation. But she seems to be more receptive to that now. Either her AI is growing in relation to Shion and Shion's actions, or something else is happening, maybe in relation to that heart that they seem to imply that she has.
Shion, don't reject everything. If you stay like this, you'll wind up alone.
What do you want? Are you here to say a bunch of cryptic things again and confuse me?
Seems easy enough to do.
That. You just appear in front of me, say whatever you feel like, then just watch without actually doing anything.
That's actually true. And you can kind of understand, considering Shion's emotional state at this point in time, that she would be very upset with Nephilim just showing up to execute these confusing orders once again.
It's true that he needs you, but he doesn't necessarily seek the same thing that you seek from him. The salvation he brings might not make you happy.
Even if that's true, I still want to see him. I want to talk with him.
If you go to him, you will have to choose. The choice you have to make will be difficult and painful for you. Do you still wish to?
Yes, I still do. I need Kevin, just like he needs me.
What Kevin wants is Abel, the Zohar, and you and KOS-MOS. Abel is currently being used as part of the Omega system to realize Dmitry Yuryev's ambition.
So we've heard.
Set Abel free from his curse.
Okay, how do you know he's cursed? How do you know he's being used against his will, since he seems to not really demonstrate a lot of will? And how do you know him at all?
If you do, Kevin will appear before you once again.
I don't want that. Another one of those scenes that doesn't serve any purpose.
So that's what happened while we were away.
We've received reports that Federation and Ormus advance forces began fighting approximately 3 hours ago in the space surrounding Mictum.
What's happening with the planetary disappearances?
Approximately half of all Galaxy Federation planets have disappeared at this point.
Now, that's horrifying. But the fact that the two forces have only just begun fighting, and I believe right after we disappeared into the hypersphere, it was implied that they were about to start fighting, or already had started fighting. The amount of time we've spent in that hypersphere was not that long. Presumably just a number of hours, if my interpretation is correct, which it may or may not be. As I've said, this is a very confusing game.
So your assumption is that Abel's arc is causing this phenomenon?
What's the Ark doing now?
Abel's arc has appeared in normal space. It appears to be heading for Mictum as we surmised. The Merkaba appears to be pursuing Abel's arc. Estimated time of contact is 1730.
Not even 2 hours from now. Damn that bastard!
Okay. Wait a minute. Why? Why is that a problem?
Well, there you go. What do you think my old man's up to, Homer?
Apparently, Dimitri's bringing his forces to fight this thing that's killing everything. Why do we assume that that's a bad thing? Yes, we know Dimitri is a crazy son of a bitch, but he seems to be trying to save us right now. And I'm not too sure why we're complaining about this.
Dimitri won't make it easy for us to find out what he's planning. But even if we don't know how much of the current situation he predicted, if he's brought out the Merkaba and obtained Omega, then there's only one thing he's after.
The original Zohar swallowed by the Ark.
Now it's starting to make
Omega
sense.
and Abel, and whatever is sleeping on Mictum.
Zarathustra.
Do you think his goal is to wipe out Ormus?
Nah, I don't think that's it. Dad probably isn't even concerned with Ormus anymore.
As sad
Dad
as that
was.
is.
He had an extreme fear of voodoo. Everything he does seems to be rooted in that fear.
Yeah, they talked about that more in Pied Piper if you want to learn more about his fear of voodoo and all that. Some of it will be in the database. They actually do a good database entry that basically covers most of what happens in Pied Piper late in the game. But for now, it's kind of interesting that Ormus, who's in different forms, you know, Utic, Immigrant Fleet, Ormus, have been kind of our enemy throughout 3 games now, and now they just kind of get brushed to the side. It actually gets worse for them later on. We'll get into that when it happens.
He found what he wanted, a way to conquer his fear.
Okay.
Are you still unable to make contact with the representative trustee?
I'm not sure who that is.
Communication with 5th Jerusalem has been cut off since the appearance of Abel's Ark.
The planetary disappearance is already spreading. It's no surprise we can't make contact.
The situation is grave here on Miltia as well. We're launching escape ships one after another, but we don't know if we'll make it in time.
They might be referring to Guinan. I'm
matter,
not sure.
We don't know if the planetary disappearance phenomenon affects us as well.
You humans are hopeless. It's times like this when you should be working together.
True, Kanan.
What you're saying is sad but true, Kanan. We're using most of the Miltian fleet as escape ships, so we don't have any left to aid you.
So,
this will probably be my last communication
one tiny
with you
ship
as well.
versus the best weapons in the world
I'll need you
to fight the
operate under
Gnosis.
your own judgment. Do what you think is best.
And the biggest Gnosis we've ever seen.
For asking so much of you.
We're
Down
fucked.
to the very end. Committee member Mizrahi, please take care of the rest.
So, there we go.
The transmission from Miltia has ended.
Mizrahi is now in charge, I guess.
What are you hesitating for?
Shion.
Shion, are you alright?
Yes, I feel fine.
Again, your
You
catchphrase.
shouldn't push yourself after what just happened.
Are you sure you want me around? Because you know I might call the Gnosis again, or maybe run off to join the enemy.
You couldn't possibly go to join the enemy. That's absolutely ridiculous. Call the Gnosis? Maybe. We don't know yet.
Of course not. Everyone's worried about your health.
I know my own body better than anyone. You can stop worrying.
Shion.
This isn't the time to be arguing about this, is it? If Dmitry Yuriev is trying to use the Zohar for his own purpose, we have to find out what it is. Once it's already happened, it'll be too late.
Yeah, I know. Shion, right now we need all the help we can get. Are you gonna be alright?
How
Asking
many
it again.
times do I have to say it? I'm fine.
And that's your catchphrase, we know.
Okay, we'll launch the Elsa as soon as we gate out. We'll pass through the fighting between the Federation and Ormus to get to the Merkaba. There, we'll secure Omega, and Dmitry Yuriev should be at the center. The Duranda will stand by for support in the rear. All hands, prepare to move out!
Why is Alan coming with us? Whatever. But anyway, we exit hyperspace here, and I know this is another long episode, 2 in a row, but we really do need to get, you know, right around the end of the disc and the start of this. We got to get things set up. Not to mention, wasn't really any place to stop. Yeah, I could have talked a little less, but we needed a little bit of explanation. And with that said, we actually don't have Ellen in our party. He's just going to hang out on the Elsa. But that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Next time, we are going to do a lot of stuff that is not continue with the plot, because we can do at least one side quest and go grab some segment address doors and some items and this and that. And anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.